Welcome to OML International Shipping. My name is Serena Williams, and we will be doing a couple of videos for you. This is the first in a series of 3 designed to assist our returning residents in the entire process. We'll be looking at how they go about getting their duty concessions, the various costs involved, and how to go about filling out their entitlement listing, along with so much more. Stay tuned. To answer that question, let me take you over to Jamaica Customs website so we can view the criteria. If you're a Jamaica national, 18 years of age, living overseas for the last 3 consecutive years, plan to return to Jamaica permanently, of course, you can benefit from the duty concession, but you should have some proof. As a student who has studied overseas for more than 1 year, but fewer than 3 consecutive years, then you can benefit from the returning student status. If you have gotten married to a Jamaican returning resident, you can also apply. As a deportee who has resided overseas for the last 3 consecutive years, we will take a look at the documents needed. A valid Jamaican passport or a foreign passport, as long as it is endorsed with the unconditional landing stamp, a valid bill of lading or an airway bill, which is usually provided by your freight forwarder or your custom broker, a taxpayer registration number, which is known as a TRN. If you're planning on importing a motor vehicle, then you will need a TCC, which is a tax compliance certificate. If you're a returning student, then please ensure that you have asked your institution for a transcript and also a confirmation letter of attendance. As a deportee, you should have your deportation order and case file. Now you have it. We'll take a look later at the preparation process. Now that you have decided on moving back to Jamaica, let us take a look at the preparation process. Now, it's always better to start early in whatever that you're doing. So I'll suggest get your pen and your paper and start. Walk your way through all the rooms of your house. Make detailed jottings as to what you'll be taking back home. That packing list you'll be using right throughout the process. Oftentimes, persons ask the question, should you sell or should you ship? Well, it all depends, because everyone in their own situation will make up their mind. But in my view, I believe it's best if you ship those items. Think about it. If you're moving back a 3-bedroom house and on the entitlement listing, you're able to take back most of those items duty-free, then it will be better off for you to take those in rather than purchasing them when you arrive in Jamaica. For example, you're taking back a refrigerator, and for most of us, we like a good one. So, of course, about $200,000 for one of those refrigerators. And if you're entitled to one of those, then you can always take it in duty-free. You don't have to think about paying for that. If you have mirrors, dressers, even an AC unit, please bear in mind, nobody likes heat. So, in my view, taking it back, you can definitely save. Think about it. If you have items that you're not able to take in because you may not be able to afford, since it's not duty-free, then you can dispose of those. You don't have to throw them away. That's just one opinion. Well, you can have a sale. Persons do purchase those items. Or you can look out for your family and friends. That's just my view on it, but you can make your own. Let us look at packing and preparing for the journey. Some freight forwarders are able to pack your items for you, or you can do so yourself. If you should do that, you'll be able to save about 30% of your shipping costs. You will have to pay freight costs and other fees. This we will look at a little later. Now, if you decide on packing your items yourself, you have to think about getting packaging materials just to ensure that they reach Jamaica safely. You may need foam wraps, corrugated paper, tape, stretch film, just to name a few. But if you need more information, you can always call us at OML International Shipping and we will advise you. We'll take a look at the entitlement listing in a few. We're finally here. Let us take a look at the entitlement list. Now, it has description, eligible quantity, quantity shipped, and value of items. The first one on the list is air conditioning units. You're only entitled to one AC. You'll put one in quantity shipped and the value of it. So if it costs 300 US, you'll put 300 US in this column. If it is that it's 300 Canadian or pound sterling, you'll do the same. If it is though that you have two ACs and you want to take them in, you can definitely do so by putting in two in quantity ship and the amount here. Bear in mind though that you'll be paying duty on one of the AC. Next on the list is barbecue grill. You'll do the same. Bedroom chairs, you're entitled to 4 duty free. You put the 4 in this column, value of it over here. If it is that you have more than 4 or even less than 4, you can put 3 in this column. If it is that you have 5, you can put 5 here. You'll continue this process until you're finished. Please ensure that you pay attention. Look at all the descriptions so you can complete this list properly. And as we have spoken about earlier, the detailed packing list, you can use that to assist you here. Going down, looking at this section, this column is used for the values. So for blinds, you'll put the value of the blinds that you're taking in. You can take in your exercise equipment, garden tools, household linens, musical instruments, even your pots and your pans. Because that is important, especially for a woman, we love the kitchen. All right, you can also take in your tools of trade. Some persons, though, have more than one skills. So, of course, you want to take in tools for maybe you're a tailor or you want to take in tools as a carpenter. However, only one of those you're entitled to take in duty free. So if you want to take in tools for both the carpentry and the tailoring, you'll be paying duty on one of those. This form is not complete. Tell you what, you have to ensure that you fill out this section by putting your full name here. So if it is Sue Thompson, your signature, and your date. Over this section, you will put your total right here. Whichever currency it is, if it's Canadian, USD currency, or pound sterling, you'll put it right here. Leave this section. That's it for entitlement listing. We're going to move right on to the booking portal. We'll be looking at how to apply for your exemption approval. Let's take a look. This is what the forms look like. The form look like, sorry. It consists of your first name. So you put your first name right here. You're going to insert your middle name, your surname, Your email address, of course. That's what they'll use to send you your credentials. Please ensure that you click the submit button. Once you have done that, you'll be getting an email, maybe in an hour, 2 hours. You can check your email to see if you'll be getting something from Jamaica Customs. Let me take you over so you can see what it looks like. Let's take a look. Once they have responded to you, you will get your credential from Jamaica Customs. They'll provide you with your username, password. You'll see it right here. You will take those credential or that credential and you will log in to the Microsoft. It's a Microsoft form that you'll be completing. I know a lot of us have Microsoft accounts. Please do not use your personal Microsoft credentials to log in. You will not get on. What you have to do is to use the one that is provided by Jamaica Customs to do so. You shouldn't have any problems. I'm also going to let you see what the login looks like and what you're supposed to upload. Let us take a look. Here we have it, the Jamaica Customs Agency Returning Resident Portal, known as the Benefit Application Form. Let's see who will get some benefits today. Firstly, you need to put in your first name, something similar to what we did earlier, your middle name, surname, gender is required, your personal email address, phone number. Number 7 asks you, have you applied for returning resident status before? I'm assuming that's no. However, if you have before, then you kindly state the dates the status was granted. Age on your last birthday. Are you in possession of a valid Jamaican passport? Whether yes or no. If no, have you obtained the unconditional stamp in your non-Jamaican passport? That, of course, is needed, as we discussed that earlier, where documents is required. You need to select the category that best fits you or describes you. So if you're a returning resident, you put that right there. If you're a student, you would check students, or if you're a foreign service officer. So returning resident, here we go, and you click next. Now you have to ensure that all the space, especially the ones with the asterisks, are completed or you will not be able to go any further. Okay, section 2, you look at what country you're returning from, how long you have resided in the country of residence. Are you returning to live in Jamaica permanently? And remember, that's one of the criteria. Where you will reside upon return. And you simply have to put right here if you're going to rent or you're going to lease. If you own your own property here in Jamaica or you're going to stay with a family or a friend, you need to choose one of those. Are you currently employed in the country of residence? If yes, have you made plans to be separated from your employment? Are you in receipt of retirement benefits? Are you self-employed in the country of residence? Now, which of the required documents do you have to support your application for returning resident status from abroad? And remember, we spoke about that earlier. You need to make sure you have your passport, your photograph, valid identification. You should have your work permit. If you're coming back, whether you're retired, you have to have your retirement papers.
The letter from employer validating period of employment with the organization as a student. This is what we spoke about before, having your transcript from the last institution of study, your deportation order case file. So you need to ensure that when you reach number 21, you go through this properly to ensure that you have all those documents, because upon completion of this will actually determine if you are qualified for your exemption approval. So you need to ensure that you read thoroughly and have all the required documents needed. You also need to pay attention to number 22 with those documents, your utility bills, your lease or your rental agreement. So be sure to pay attention and upload the necessary details. Next, we'll be looking at the clearance process, and I'm sure you want to hear more about that. So stay tuned.
Okay, I'm taking it that you have received your exemption approval from Jamaica Customs. So this you will provide to your broker along with the entitlement list that you have completed. Your broker will then use this document to prepare the customs declaration. After you have done that, we will have to, once their shipment is here in Jamaica, we'll have to go to the ship's agent to collect the validated bill of lading. I'm sure you remember that word from the documents required. So we'll pick up a validated bill of lading, and there is a fee, which is known as a THC. There's a THC charge of about 300 to 400 US dollars that would have to pay along with the mortgage deposit. And this runs you about 400 to about 700 US dollars. This is refundable, but we will discuss this later. Once we have collected that document, we will take that along with the exemption approval and your entitlement list, and we will prepare the declaration, as I said before. If it is that you have everything on the entitlement list that is duty-free, you look on paying about $55,000. If you have additional items, then your broker will discuss that further with you. Okay, so in order for your container to be stripped at the port, this is where the customs officer will examine the items. So the container will be open, customs officer will examine your items to determine that everything on your entitlement list is correct with whatever is in your container. But before you do that, you'll have to make a fee to the port. This fee for a 20-foot container will run you between $70,000 to $90,000. And before you're able to strip that container, you'll have to make arrangement with the port to have it stripped. So we'll normally do a stripping letter and submit that to the port. Your broker definitely will do that. So you need to have your broker at hand before you start this process. Bear in mind though, a lot of persons get very anxious, and I know that you want to reunite with your items, especially as a returning resident. Sometimes you come back and you don't have furniture where you're staying and electronics, and you're a bit uncomfortable, but do have some patience. Do not try to get involved too much. Allow your broker to do the work, because it will complicate things. Trust me on that. I've seen it happen more than once. So once that day comes when you're supposed to strip the container, your broker will go to the port, who is acting on your behalf, or if you want to accompany your broker, that's fine. Once you go there and the stripping process is done, the customs officer will then release their items. Once everything is good, the paperwork is good, they have seen what you have declared on the entitlement list, then they will do your release documents. Although your item is released, you still have a little wait. It is now mandatory for you to make an appointment to have your container removed from the port. This your broker will do for you. Once there's a date available to remove the container, we can get a haulier to get your container off and deliver it to your house. We can do the offloading, and I know some persons prefer to have hassle-free service where you want your unpacking, debris disposal, delivery of your items to the different rooms of your house. This can be done through professional movers, and definitely recommend Orandi Moving and Storage for this. They are known in Jamaica as the #1 movers, so you can check them out, or you can ask your broker to make contact for you. So we are basically at the end of the clearance process. We'll be getting your items pretty soon. If you're unclear about anything, reach out to OML International, and a shipping consultant is waiting to advise you.